Good afternoon, all. Now we'll go for the fourth topic, subtopic rather, from time domain analysis, and that is root locus. As per my thinking, this was the only thing for which numericals, matlab soft में numericals were not there, right? For Nyquist, for Bode plot, and for digital system, the numericals, the videos are with you, right? So the numericals, how to solve everything, the methodology is with you. Only this was the topic for which you were not having these time domain analysis, and this will be the last video which I'm making. The initial mathematical modeling numerical, those are simple one. All the notes are with you, so you can go for those. Okay, so this will be fourth one. So I'll write video 4, and topic is time domain analysis. And the subtopic is root locus. Many a times we used to say RL. And okay. Yes. So first, in short, matlab how the rules are there and all those things we'll not discuss. Only what are the rules, what are the main formulas we'll see, and one numerical I'll solve for you. I'm not going for design in this part, right? Design Sarah has already taken for you. So I'm talking about first thing OLTF. You know what is OLTF, you know what is CLTF also. So OLTF, that is G into H, correct? And standard format में what it is going to have, it is going to have some gain K, then some zeros in the numerator, let us say 1 to M, and those pi is telling you that it is in multiplication. S plus some 0 ka value is going to be there, divided by some poles will be there in the denominator. So these poles and zeros are for your OLTF. Okay, so again let us say J 1 to N S plus ZG. Okay, so this is the standard format of OLTF. Now I am talking about first formula, that is angle and magnitude criteria. When this criteria is getting satisfied, you will be able to say yes, this particular point is lying on the root locus. So magnitude criteria, magnitude of this OLTF should be equal to 1, means K multiplied by whatever are the Z I equal to 1 to M, magnitude of all these zeros divided by magnitude of all these poles. Multiplication of the magnitude of these poles. Okay, and that should be equal to 1. On the same line, angle criteria, when you are saying see whatever point for which you want to get the magnitude, you are supposed to put value of S over there. For example, this point you are having minus 2 plus 3j. This is the value of S for this particular point. So this value you are supposed to put it over here, solve it, and see whether you are getting the magnitude to be equal to 1 or not. On the same line, yeah, angle criteria, when you are saying we are talking about the angles, so summation, magnitude का multiplication, angle का summation, so I equal to 1 to m, add all the angles for the zeros, minus subtract from the angle of the poles. Subtract angle of the poles, you subtract from the angle of the zeros, and that should come out to be 180 का multiple. Okay, plus or minus 180 and multiple of that. As soon as this thing is getting satisfied, you will be able to say yes, this particular point is lying on the root locus. If you are not getting 180, somewhere over here your point is not lying on the root locus. Okay. Then the second formula. Second formula for finding out this k ka value. So very much clear from this will go in the numerator, this will come in the denominator, and will give you the value of this k, right? The point when it is lying on the root locus, right? At that point, again, if you want to find out, you have to just reverse this thing. So that means it is going to be j equal to 1 to n for magnitude of all the poles, you multiply and divide it by magnitude of all the zeros. Okay. Right? Then the next thing is third one, that is keep in your mind, root locus starts on OLTF poles and it ends on OLTF zeros. Derivation of this thing is in your notes. The query hai, so you please see that thing. Very simple derivation. Okay. Then the fourth thing is, I'm talking about all the formulas and the rules that you are going to require for solving the root locus numericals. Real axis loci means part of the real axis, which is the locus of the locus of the where the poles are lying, right? The real axis loci is on the left hand side of odd components. Right? So from the right hand side, you are supposed to see which are the odd components, whether it is zero or pole matter. On the left hand side of that, yes, the real axis. This is only about the real axis. The real axis locus will be, or the part of the locus will be the real axis for that. Okay, with one example I'll explain. Then the fifth one is breakaway or breaking angle. You keep in your mind, time being, it is equal to 90 degrees. Mostly two poles are coming and getting breaked in or breaking away. So mostly the angle is going to be 90 degrees. Then the sixth one is this breakaway point, where it is going to break. So breakaway point. See, two poles, right, moving towards each other. no any other solution for them, and they are going to break at this point. So this point is breakaway point, and at what angle they are going to break? They are going to break at 90 degrees. Okay, so this is denoted by sigma b, right? And that for that the formula is dk by ds is equal to 0. Derivative of the gain with respect to s is to be equal to 0, and we know the value of k, that is equal to c. Standard में it is k numerator, that means the numerator is there and denominator is there, right? Now what we want to do, this value of this k, it's very much clear over here. K is equal to denominator, otherwise I'll write it and I'll explain it 2 minutes. See, we are having g of s, h of s, we are saying it is having k numerator, so I'll write ns and I'll write ds, correct, some denominator, correct. Now when you are talking about finding this value of k, what one thing we are having, 1 plus gshs, that is characteristic equation is equal to 0. So what I can write for this gshs, 1 plus k ns ds. So if I try to get value of this k from this is minus 1, d will be in the numerator and n will be in the denominator, and that's why I'll be able to write minus d ds of denominator upon numerator. So this is the formula for calculating breakaway point. Okay, then seventh one is, see, when they are breaking, after break how they are going to leave, whether they will be at 60 or 90 or whatnot, right? So all these angles, to go for it, it is called as asymptotic angle. And it is denoted by phi. So phi 1, phi 2, phi 3. Okay, and it depends upon what? It depends upon number of, how many angles it is going to have, number of poles minus number of zeros. Means what? This is n minus m. So n minus m, these many angles, asymptotic angles you are going to have, because these many poles will, these many branches will go towards infinity, that's why. Okay, so number of poles minus number of zeros, n minus m will decide how many angles you are going to have. Now for example, n minus m, you are having 1, right? That means one extra pole is there which is going towards infinity. Then keep in your mind, you are going to have angle to be equal to 180. Now how we are getting this, I'll write that formula down below. Just try to remember all these things. If it comes in the exam, please solve it with the formula and get it. So when it is 2, your phi 1 will be 90 and phi 2 will be 270. When it is 3 branches, 3 extra branches which are going towards infinity, it will be 60, 180 and 300. And when it is 4, 45, 135, 225, 350. So how I have calculated it, the formula for that, to calculate this phi, the formula is 2q plus 1 divided by n minus m into 180 degrees. And what is this q? This q changes from, I mean, it is having value 1, 2, 3, until what it will go? It will go till n minus m minus 1. Okay, because it is starting with 0. One branch है तो 0th का calculation you will have. ठीक है. Yes. Then the next thing is, these are the angles, these are the asymptotic angles, but at real axis pe where you are going to draw the asymptotes, how you are going to draw the asymptotes. So that point at which you are going to draw the asymptote, right, that is called as centroid of the asymptote. And it is denoted by sigma c. And sigma c ka formula very simple, summation of real part of all poles, summation of a real part of all poles minus summation of real part of all zeros, and whole thing divided by n minus m. So you will be able to get the centroid of the asymptote. Yeah. Then the next thing is 8th one. Yeah. Next one is angle of C. So what are the things we had seen? If the poles are there and the branches are moving towards each other, then where they are going to break at 90 degrees. The point at which they are going to break is breakaway point. When they are going to move along, what they will move? Asymptotic angle. These asymptotes, when you are drawing, actually they should start at what point? That is the centroid of the asymptote. Now the next thing is, this is all about the real axis, right? But if your poles or zeros are complex, and if branch is going to start from this, at what angle it will start, or if zeros are there, at what angle it is going to end on it, correct? How it is going to end, like this, so we don't know. So that is called as angle of departure or angle of arrival. So I'll write those two formulae: angle of departure from a complex pole which is denoted by phi d. Phi d. And phi d ka formula is, phi d is 180 plus phi. So what is this phi? This phi is summation of angle of zeros minus summation of angle of poles. Now this angle of zeros and angle of poles means, if this is the pole and the remaining poles are lying somewhere, poles and zeros are lying somewhere over here, you draw all the phases, right? Theta 1 plus theta 2 minus theta 3 minus theta 4 will give you the phi. Angle of zeros minus angle of poles. That is the meaning of this, how you are supposed to calculate this phi. Okay. On the reverse side, angle of departure, on the same line, angle of arrival. Of arrival at, actually, at a complex zero. That is phi A arrival है, तो phi A is the formula is 180 minus phi. Again the phi का calculation is same, right? And the last rule now, that is ninth number, and then we'll go for a numerical, that is point of intersection with imaginary axis. ठीक है. So see, characteristic equation definitely you can find out because open loop transfer function is with you, and you know the characteristic equation is 1 plus GSHS equated to 0. You got the characteristic equation, you apply Rouse array. Okay. When you will go for the Rouse array, you will find that some terms in K you are getting, because G will always have some K. Correct? Those terms, when you are talking about intersection with imaginary axis, those terms you equate it to 0. Whatever value of K you are getting, right? Whatever value of K you are getting, that will be the value of K when the intersection is there. You solve the auxiliary equation. Just above it, whatever equation that you are getting, you will get these values of the poles. Okay, so these are the formulas. Now we'll go for the numerical. Draw a complete root locus for a system having OLTF G of S is equal to K upon S square plus 4S plus 13. Right? And we'll try to draw root locus for this. Yeah. So we'll go one by one. So number 1, right? Number of zeros in the system. Nothing in the numerator, only K is there, so no zeros, so 0. And that means M is equal to 0. Second thing, number of poles. Number of poles 1 and this 2, that means 3. That means N is equal to 3. What are the poles? S is equal to 0. You solve this, you will get 2 more. That is coming out to be minus 2 plus 3j minus 2 minus 3j. So we got the number of poles and zeros. Then the third thing is angle of asymptote. Now angle of asymptotes will depend upon, just now I have told you, n minus m, and n minus m is 3. That means you are going to have phi 1, phi 2 and phi 3. You use the formula which I have given in the list and you will get it. So it is coming out to be 60, 180 and 300. Now sigma c, when you are talking about real part of the poles, minus 2, summation of that minus 2, zeros nahi hai, तो 0, and divided by n minus m. N minus m you are having 3. So it is going to be minus 4 by 3. And minus 4 by 3 means minus 1.33. Then fourth one. Yeah. Then the fourth one is what is the breaking angle? Sigma b. Sigma b, how we are supposed to get? We know the value of k over here, right? That is, see, 1 plus g of s h of s is equal to 0. So when I'll put this thing over here, right, and I'll cross multiply, it is going to be s square 4s plus 13 and plus this numerator ka k is equal to 0. And that means you are getting k is equal to minus s square plus 4s plus 13. So what we want to get now? dk by ds. ds of k rather. Yeah. So ds of k and equating to 0. So we'll differentiate and we'll equate it to 0. 0 is equal to minus ds of, I'll take this s inside and I'll solve, s cube 4s square 3s. So we'll get 0 is equal to 3s square plus 8s plus 3. Sorry, 13 it is. Oh, sorry, 30. So 30. Okay. So if we'll solve it, you are going to get sigma b is equal to minus 1.33 plus minus j 1.59. Now when we are solving this, see what we got. Sigma b we got what to say, complex, right? But we normally we used to talk about the breaking point that is on the real axis. Sometimes yes, you may have them to be complex, right? Sometimes it may not. We got some value. Now whether it is valid or not, we'll draw it and we'll check it. Okay. Now before I go for some more rules, I would like to start with the root locus. Why? Because and you also do the same thing. It's not don't keep on calculating everything and then drawing. I mean that will instead of that, if you start drawing it simultaneously, start putting the things simultaneously, it will give you more clearance related to clearance means the clear idea related to the root locus. I'll take two divisions as one unit and will okay, yes. So first we'll put the poles. So it is s is equal to 0, then minus 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so minus 1, minus 2. So you are going to have over here one pole and over here one pole. Okay, so these are the three poles. Now this is your sigma, this is the j omega, right? Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Yes. Now real axis, first component and nothing on this side. First component ka, that is odd component ka left hand side will be the whole thing root locus, because no any other component to restrict it. That means the root locus will start, real part of the root locus will start at this point and will go till infinity with this. Then the next thing is, for these two things, these two poles, see now what we got. We got one thing we have placed, then see what else we did. Yeah, I'll write it over here. -2 plus 3j -2 minus 3j. These are the two poles. Then the next thing that we got is angle of asymptotes, and at 133 the centroid is coming. So I'll change the color. 1.3 somewhere over here. Alright, so this is sigma c, and at 60 degree, 180 and 300 degrees we are supposed to draw the asymptote. So no need to worry, this is already going in this direction, so I will not draw it, not required. Second thing is, I am supposed to draw it at 60. I don't know whether my angles are right or not. You just measure with your protractor and draw. Okay, so these are the two asymptotes, and at what point I have drawn? At sigma c I have drawn. Third one, 180, it is already there, but I will not draw it, not required. It is going along 180. Sigma b you see minus 1.33 and 1.59 over here and here. So now we don't know how these are going to move, correct? But one thing is very much clear, this pole has to go along this pole has to go along this, correct? So if it is crossing, still not possible that these two will cross each other or break at these points. So definitely, even if we got the value of sigma b, it's of no use, because nowhere these two poles are going to cross this line, real axis, and then they are going to break. Not possible. This has to go along this has to go along this. So very important thing, two things are remaining: angle of departure and where they are cutting the imaginary axis. These two things if we'll be able to know, then chances are there more accuracy we can have in the root locus. We got the breakaway point over here, but the root locus is not possible. Now how you are going to check? You just apply the angle criteria for this, and you just try to see whether this point is satisfying the angle criteria, means whether you are getting 180 degrees over there or not. If you are getting the poles are lying on the root locus, and if you are not getting, that means the poles this point is not lying on the root locus. So what I'll do at the end, we'll go to the software which I had shown you previously, and we'll try to see whether this thing what root locus we are getting over there. Okay, but let me finish with the drawing part first. So now fifth point is point of intersection. Intersection with imaginary axis. Right, so the characteristic equation we are having: s cube plus 4s square plus 13s plus k is equal to 0. We got that thing over here, right? So I'll go for the array now. Cube is cube, square 1 and 0, 1 13 4 and k 52 minus k divided by 4 and divided by this, so it is going to be k. Aap check karo. So now to have it is on the imaginary axis, this is 0 already, k equal to 0, right? K equal to 0 you are having starting point, so no need to worry for this point is important for us. So 52 minus k upon 4, when it will come out to be equal to 0, one of the row all elements 0, that means the points are lying, the poles are lying on the imaginary axis, and we are interested in this condition. So 0, so k is equal to 52. So when k is equal to 52, poles are crossing the imaginary axis, touching the imaginary axis, right? One thing. Then go above equation, 4s square plus k equal to 0 will give you those roots. So 4s square plus 52 is equal to 0. So that is coming out to be s square is equal to minus 13, and s ka value we are getting plus minus under root 13j, that is coming out to be plus minus 3.6j. So 3.6, so somewhere over here, and actually I had drawn this line wrong, so let me draw it properly. Wait. Ah. 2 point, that's a half of that, somewhere over here, and now we'll draw it. Yeah, so it is 3.6, so 3.5, so somewhere here 6, and here also 3 point, sorry, not this point, 3.5 and 6. So it is going to move through this in this way and in this way, okay, but we don't know the angle of departure, so we'll calculate that thing. So sixth one now, angle of departure. Yeah, so you know phi d is equal to 180 plus phi. We want to get for this pole, reverse will be for this pole, just mirror image of that. So we are interested in phi, right? So we are interested in, see this phi, this pole is making angle of 90 with it. So ये तो angle 90 is straight line it will be, and phi will be summation of 0 का angle minus pole का angle. Now the formula is not with me, but just now I have told you, right? Pole 0 का angle minus pole का angle, तो 0 का angle तो है नहीं, minus pole तो 90 है, तो minus 90 it is going to be. And for this one it will be this, correct? So it is going to be tan inverse of minus 2 plus 3. How I am writing minus? It's plus. ठीक है, so minus 2 plus 3, tan inverse of minus 2 plus 3. You just go for on calculator pole minus 2 comma 3. So you will get the magnitude and the angle, and the angle you will get, magnitude I am not writing, but the angle you will get 123.69. Of course in the second quadrant it has to be greater than 90, and 0 का angle minus pole का angle, so it is going to be minus 123.69. The formula for this phi is summation of angle of zeros minus summation of angle of poles. Now zeros are not there, so 0 minus poles के angle, ठीक है? So that is coming out to be whatever it is. Now phi d will be 180 minus 90 minus 123.69. So it is coming out to be minus 33.69. Now that means, see, this is the pole, this is 0, correct? From this below at 33 you have to draw a line. So I'm talking about this red thing, minus 33.69. And now at this angle passing through this point, you are supposed to draw the root locus going along this, and the same line it will be plus 33. for this it is minus 33, for this it will be plus 33. At plus 33 it will come and will go along this. So the orange parts are telling you RL1, RL2, RL3. What I'll do now is I will go to Google and we'll try to see what root locus we are getting for this, right? Okay, just a minute. I should have the equation for that. Yes. Root locus drawing tool, Swarthmore. Yeah, so we are on that page, right? So in the numerator what you are having, numerator ka polynomial is nothing is there, so it is 1, correct? And in the denominator we are having s, okay, s bracket s square s cap 2 plus 4s plus 13 bracket complete and enter. Let us see what it is giving out. It gave something, and you can see, correct, whatever we had drawn, right? 3 parts, blue, red and this orange one. Now we'll go for the breakout locations and try to read what is written over there. See, 1.33, 1.659 we got. From these two roots there exists 0 roots on the locus, so none are shown, right? From this nothing is getting breaked out or breaked in, so the thing is this will be the solution. Okay, so it is matching with whatever we have done. Thank you.